Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Welcome. I'm Jeffrey Morgan, and this is a talk I host twice a week to discuss my experiences on the path of soul transcendence. This offering is brought to you by the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness with the encouragement and support of my friend John Morton, who holds the mystical traveler consciousness, which is the spiritual consciousness, which does the work that we're doing here today. If you're new to the call, the format is simple. We're going to start by calling ourselves forward into the light, which is calling our awareness forward into the light of God that's already present. And then we're going to chant three Anai hues. Hue is an ancient name for God, and Anai invokes a quality of empathy and compassion. And then I'm going to play a video clip from my teacher, John Roger. And then I'm going to do a reading from Meister Eckhart. And then we can talk about whatever you would like. Let me just see. Oh, I think I see a Ron Holnick there on his phone or something. Oh, I lost him. There he is. Oh, crap. He keeps jumping around. Hold on. Maybe Ron will call us forward into the light from wherever he is. Oh, gotta unmute you again. Anybody seeing him? Oh, there we go. Try it again.
There we go.
Go
How's
for
that?
it. Yeah, call us forward into the light, man.
All right. Oh my God. I'm in the puzzle department of
Barnes and Noble.
of Barnes and Nobles. Lots of things for the light here. Lord God of all creation, we, we asked just now to step forward within into the heart of God, our true home. And Lord, we ask that all of our behaviors, all of our endeavors, everything that we hold sacred, and even those we don't, be filled, surrounded, protected, and overflowing with that living love that is our essence. And Lord, we say, Thy will be done. And please assist us in recognizing that which is for the highest good. So be it.
Take time to heal yourself on all the levels of your existence. And let that just go out to the trees, the grass, the river, animals, the water, birds, fish, whatever, into the clouds. And know that this jigsaw puzzle, this planet, won't be complete until every one of us have put our part in the picture. And if we hold back our particular part, waiting for the other parts to be there before we commit, when on earth will this puzzle complete itself? And maybe what happens is that this puzzle is not going to be built from the outside, but it's going to be created and finished from the inside of us as we put ours out. And people then see how we fit together, and we fit with them, and they fit with each other, and their extensions fit with others. And like some great tapestry of magic, it weaves itself together, and we start to go, wow, there it is, I see it again. And part of our job is to let ourselves so shine that others want to become part of that puzzle, and they put their piece in. And what that means is not one soul will be lost, not one piece of the puzzle will be missing. Remember the 6 magic words I gave years ago? God bless you and I love you. Now we're adding 3 more. Peace, be still. Berush Beshem.
All right, and here's a poem by Meister Eckhart on divine love. It is your destiny to see as God sees, to know as God knows, to feel as God feels. How is this possible? How? Because divine love cannot defy its very self. Divine love will be eternally true to its own being, and its being is giving all it can at the perfect moment. And the greatest gift God can give is his own experience. Every object, every creature, every man, woman, and child has a soul, and it is the destiny of all to see as God sees, to know as God knows, to feel as God feels, to be as God is. All right. Who has not shared with me yet before? Okay, we'll go with you first.
Hello there. I was just met you for the first time assisting for the first weekend of USM
Oh,
this past weekend. Yeah, and so I have a question. Oh, that's I've been wrestling with for some time, and that is what's the difference between resistance to something that's out of alignment versus resistance from the ego for pursuing an aligned action that's beyond our comfort zone?
yeah, you bring up a good point. In a sense, even to sit upright, you're resisting gravity. Even to stand in some capacity, you're resisting gravity, right? So resistance by its nature isn't necessarily uh, off or negative. But then I think we have to clarify, when you stand, you are not doing so in defiance of gravity. You're doing so in seeking a higher vantage point, or in seeking mobility, or in seeking movement. So I think for me, the distinction is always, am I working against something, or am I simply pursuing something of greater truth? There may be resistance inherent in the process of pursuing a higher truth, but as long as I have no quarrel with the previous state that I find myself, or the way in which I am, then I'm not in resistance or againstness.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say that as long as I'm in unconditional loving acceptance of where I'm at while also pursuing something for a higher level of consciousness, say, then then the resistance is worth it or okay?
No, well, I think it it changes our relationship, right? There's a wonderful seminar that John Roger, my teacher, gives called issue. I think it's called Issue to Process or Issue to Process, something like that. Our relationship or our relating to a condition as a problem is what makes it a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We define it as a problem, but we could just as easily define it as a process of evolution or a process of release or a process of freeing ourselves. So what I find is when I'm advocating for a higher truth, which is almost always my most loving expression at any given moment. So when I'm following the loving, one could look from the outside in and go, "Oh my God, he's tangled up in all these brambles and he's fighting against these tangles and trying to get out." But in my consciousness, I'm not really focused on all the tangles in the way. It's not an argument or a fight with that. I just simply relate to it as the process by which I am being liberated or the process by which I'm moving beyond my perceived limitation. So I think it's about how you relate to it, right? Pete,
Sure. You relate to the issue is the issue a la USM. I get that. Yeah,
yeah, maybe if we dig into what you're asking a little bit more, maybe I didn't
sure.
understand.
So it's about my business as a coach.
Perfect. Yeah.
And I love the coaching part. I'm very excellent at that. It's wonderful. And then there's the business part, which seems to require an entirely different set of skills. And I experienced an enormous amount of success for the first, I don't know, 10 years. And in the last 5 years, it has completely dumbfounded me as to what in the heavens is going on. I have there have been about 3 or 4 times that I decided I'm going to really go for it. I'm going to try this path. I'm going to invest everything I've got and literally no results. And I felt, okay, this didn't work. No problem. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to try it again. And after the fourth time, I just got scared. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be in business. Maybe I need to get a job coaching. Maybe I'm not, I'm bad at business. And I'm scared that if I try again, I will exhaust a lot of my resources energetically, emotionally, financially, and then I'll end up in the same spot. So then I'm like, is this resistance now toward, expanding my business to do good in the world because this is not my path, or is it because I'm just encountering something inside of myself that I need to work through, which I have been trying for a few years now and I've not gotten to. So it's like, it's just this dilemma of I should be doing my business because I got all these skills. I paid a lot of money for these. I help a lot of people. I want to keep helping people. I want to make money and like support myself. But no matter how much I try, it just feels like it's just nothing is working so far.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
That's a much clearer question, and I
thank
might
you.
be able to offer you a much more useful answer. Um, so a couple things. One is the ego's tendency to look at the way the universe responds or the way your karma responds to a direction your mind decides to take as indication of something about you or your destiny or your path, which is not the case. Most of what happens to us in the physical level is driven by our karmas, and most of what occurs is simply because that's our curriculum, that's what we're learning. So I think there's first and foremost a discipline not to define success on the or define alignment on the basis of getting the result you think you want. That's number one. And
Mm.
that's a big one for me because you kind of feel like, well, if I'm completely aligned, how come money isn't pouring down from the heavens? How come people aren't flooding in through the door?
Or why aren't clients just flying in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's very, very easy to make a value judgment of yourself
Hmm.
based upon that. And I see that as a huge mistake because it's like judging yourself because it's raining outside or something.
Mm,
There's a lot of things that aren't in your control. What is, you could say, in your control or in your agency is clearing any blocks you may have to receiving of what's available to you within your karma. So the way I would describe it is you act as if there's infinite possibility, but you accept that there is bounded probability in your life. Infinite possibility means I'm not going to be what stands in the way of me receiving fully of the bounty of what I have in this part of my curriculum. Okay. Bounded probability says I'm not going to judge myself if I do everything that's within my agency to do, called clearing all my blocks, and I still don't get the result that I want. I'm not going to go, maybe I'm doing something wrong, because maybe the thing I'm supposed to learn is being really true to myself, even if I don't get the result that I want in the physical world. And that might be the big, beautiful lesson that I'm going to learn that's going to break me into the new level of awareness that's available to me. Now, I
mm,
have a different approach as far as like, because in a sense, I think it's very, very clear and very, very good to have a preference to make good money doing what you love to do. I
mm,
think that's great. I think that's powerful. But I see it more as a preference in alignment rather than a what should be. So it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong if you don't get your preference. Like I would prefer myself to be able to eat pizza and ice cream every day and not gain weight. That would be awesome. I actually am one of those, like I love pizza. I think it's amazing. I haven't had it in like 10 years, but yes, I know. I impressed myself. Thank you. No, but my point in saying all of this is we can have preferences and we can love ourselves and our preferences, and we don't have to judge ourselves if we don't get our preferences fulfilled. So that's one thing, is change your scoreboard. So one thing is like change your metric toward, am I in alignment? Am I in my joy? Do I love what I'm doing? Do I feel the energy coming through? Those are also very valid indicators. Now, our basic self, our body is going to say, but money is important. Money is important. Money is a spiritualized medium of exchange on this planet, but it is not the definition of truth, as much as some people in our society would like it to be. So I think I would differentiate the question of how do I make more money and am I doing the right thing? Those are two, to me, those are two different questions. So, am I
mhm,
doing the right thing
mm.
is more about alignment and more about, it's kind of like I see people fighting with their karma. You could call that trying to row a boat upstream, in a river. And then I see people windsurfing or sailing. And
Mm,
that's, I'm listening and I'm feeling where is the energy going. Now, the mind is going to want finality. The mind is going to say, okay, but I want to know, should I just go get a job, or am I just bad at this business thing, or what should I do?
right.
To me, that we don't need to go there. We just need to feel the wind. Where is it blowing and go there? Where is my highest service? It's just asking that question. Where is my highest service, beloved? How can I be of greatest service to the loving that I am right now? And then you follow that. Now, the other thing that you brought up, which is very important, is I think it's very tempting, especially as a small business owner, to think that you should be good at things like bookkeeping and marketing and all that kind of stuff. I'm a big proponent of radical honesty. If it makes you feel real contracted to do bookkeeping, find a bookkeeper. If it
Mhm,
makes you, if you just don't know nothing about marketing, maybe there's a marketing person who totally believes in your style of coaching and what you're doing and how what your mission is and how you're helping people, and they don't know anything about how to actually help people do what you do. They just know how to market what you do. And maybe you join forces and do some kind of a profit sharing model where you say, all right, let's make a deal. I'll do the thing where people come to the room and I do the thing and then they're really happy and it changes their life and that's good. And you make sure people come in the door and we'll share profits.
mm.
See, we get out of that mode of I need to be different than I am, and you start going, well, I came in with a certain set of karmas, and one of those karmas isn't accounting and bookkeeping or isn't marketing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's also being radically honest with yourself and any judgments you may have about yourself and how you work, and being open to thinking differently about how to work and making serving the highest call. So, I mean, the way I look at money in terms of the flow of money is it's about opening up unconditional giving and unconditional receiving. And unconditional giving to me is going out into the world and saying, Beloved, I'm ready to serve wherever my service will be of highest value to the highest good.
Mm.
And you go out and you just follow it. And it may be the thing you least expected, because what happens is in a human life there are karmic cycles, like chapters, and
Mm.
everybody kind of intuitively knows this, because it's like, is what I thought was true at age 18 true right now? Probably not. Most of what I thought was true at age 18 I've disproven by this point, right? We have cycles, and in those cycles we have cycles within cycles within cycles. And what will often happen is we will develop something that really works for a specific karmic context in our life plan. And then there'll be a shift, and all of a sudden, everything that was up is now down, and everything that was down is now up, and things shifted in the energy. But what humans are so adept at forming fixed habit patterns, they don't always pay attention to the shift in energy.
Mm.
And so it becomes a bias, like, but I've spent all this time building this practice and I've spent all this effort doing all of this. For me, it's like every day I wake up and say, Lord, how can I be of greatest service?
Mm.
Now, to me, and it's whatever word works for you. For me, when I say Lord, most of the time I think I mean the high self, which is like whoever's in charge of my life plan and whatever is my highest learning right now, put me in the right spot, please. I don't
Mm.
have a very romantic notion of it. I just go, you know, how can I be of greatest service for the highest good right now? And to me, service has always been the touchstone of my life, the center point of my life. And it always has guided me in perfect ways and in perfect timing to the
Mm.
interactions that serve me and everyone else the greatest. And the mind will often try to zoom out and create an artificial sense of order,
Mm.
because chaos is so scary to the mind.
Mm.
And I find that zooming in, I often just pray, like my prayer is, Lord, let my vision be no greater than the next one you've given me to love and serve.
Mm.
And when I'm in that consciousness, my mind has no space to invent the BS. Like when people say, what's the purpose of my life? As if there was like one purpose of your life. Well, okay, what's the purpose of your existence? It's to gain experience and remember that you're divine, and then to
Mhm.
return to the place of your origin, the source. If you really wanted to know the purpose, but guess what? There are so many ways of getting there. There's so many ways of finding that source and finding your way back. I mean, I have ways that work better for me. Ergo, I'm on a talking about soul transcendence. That's the way that works best for me.
Mm.
But people going around going, no, I'm going to help you find the purpose of your life. Usually they're selling something. And when you ask yourself, oh my God, what if this is out of sync with the purpose of my life? Well, it's like your life plan is the purpose of your lifetime. Your curriculum is the purpose of your life.
Mm.
You don't have to worry about it. Usually karma comes up and kicks you in the butt. You don't have to go looking for it. It's like
Mm.
whatever it is you're supposed to learn, whatever it is you're supposed to have difficulty with. But I think the question to ask yourself in this phase is, am I truly listening and am I truly following? And am I bringing any context or anything that would obscure the movement of energy that's present right now so that I can just follow that? And it may be that this is just a phase where money isn't going to flow to you as easily. That happens in a lifetime.
Mm.
Now, again, the ego is going to look at that and go, I must have been doing something right when all that money happened before.
Right.
Now I'm doing something wrong right now. But then from a karmic perspective, you go, no, this aligned over here and now it's not aligned. And that's all that happened. You didn't do anything wrong or right. You did the same thing you've always been doing. The karma shifted. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit different. It's maybe less empowering than people would like, but at the same time, I think the ultimate authentic empowerment that's available to us is to walk in the grace of soul consciousness, regardless of the physical condition.
Hmm.
Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're walking around in soul consciousness, even if your practice isn't making a dime, you're the richest person I know.
Hmm. Interestingly enough, about 4 months ago, I decided, you know what, my business is not doing what it should be doing, what I want it to be doing. All right, I surrender my business to the divine and I said, God, like you said, I surrender. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. All I want to do is just be in service. And I don't care if it's for my business. I don't care where the money comes from. And I haven't paid rent in 4 months. I've been having beautiful free places to stay. I have money to buy my organic food that I love. I'm actually really deeply fulfilled and happy. But then there's this one little area that's like not doing what it's supposed to be doing according to my mind. Most of the time I release it, but sometimes I'm like, um, I want to be helping people in this specific way. I want it to look this way, but outside of that, like I'm pretty good. Outside of that story, I'm like amazing, better than ever. And
Yeah.
and I am in service, and I am making some money doing personal assistant work, for very few hours a week. So I have like just enough. Like I'm not starving, but it's like I just don't feel fulfilled in the business part because I used to be very fulfilled in that part. And now my fulfillment is coming from everywhere else in my life. And I feel like if I could just make peace with what my business is doing or not doing, then I'd be like 100% at peace, not just 95% at peace.
Yeah, I mean, for my own experience and the work that I've done, I think the biggest aha moment was when I realized I'm not actually, if I have an idea of how to serve other people, it's really an idea of how I need to be served within. So I start working with parts of me.
Mm,
I know that's a little radical. So if somebody comes to me and they have something to clear, I assume they're bringing me part of me to clear and heal.
mm,
So I actually go internal. So you might want to try digging inward and working with parts of you. So if you have this need to serve in a certain way, it could be a part of you that's simply crying out to be served in a certain way from you right now.
mm. Yeah, doing some deep listening with that in mind. I hear you. I hear you that you're turning the outward inward because there's only one, and that's here with me. And
Exactly.
yeah.
If I see, I tend to see my own needs out there in the world. I tend to see my own suffering out there in the world. I tend to see my own loving out there in the world.
Mm,
So we, as humans, are pretty programmed to externalize through the senses. But you may consider when you are called, when you feel like, oh my goodness, I should be out there. Where's the client? Maybe the client's inside.
mm.
So that's why I say, Lord, let my vision be no greater than the next one I'm to love and serve,
Which could be me.
which is usually me.
Mm, wow.
So it may be also, yeah, and I've had so many arguments with myself over this one because when I first found that people were getting value from the work that I would do with them, I started thinking, well, am I supposed to do this? Am I supposed to make this my whole mission? Am I supposed to? And I started inventing all this stuff. But then sometimes, I worked with some pretty amazing practitioners who were like, no, the people that you were to serve are in your own house. And I was like, no, that can't be. So I end up serving the people in my own house. And I learned a ton from doing that. and it made me better in
Mm,
working with people out in the world. And sometimes the person that we are least likely to serve is ourself, and the person we most need to serve in order to grow and learn and enhance our ability is ourself.
mhm,
So it may be that you're in a period where you're the client, you're the focus.
mm. It really, not only does it feel this way, but it is that way. I spend quite a lot of time almost every single day being with myself in self-connection practices and praying and meditating and writing and dancing and just seeing what's going, not to get to the bottom of anything, but just to be with myself because a year ago I left a 10-year marriage and I'm definitely in a big transition inside of myself in terms of my operating system and what does a relationship mean? What does love mean? What does being in relationship with myself mean? What are my values and standards and deal breakers? And um, what else can I learn from that relationship that it reflected to me? So I'm definitely in a very inward space. And I think as a result of this conversation, I really see an opportunity for myself to keep the practice of surrendering my business to the divine as a way of releasing it from my sense of needing to control it. I think that's really my practice right now, because I don't feel a sense of attachment with anything else or a sense of like it needs to be a certain way. And I think this is the service that my business is doing for me right now, and it's uncomfortable.
Good. That's usually where growth happens.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. God bless you. Thank you.
Mm.
Um, uh, Flor Rivas, have you shared before?
Hola, hola, buenas noches. Yo no hablo inglés.
Hi, I don't speak English. I'll be translating.
Mi hijo me va a traducir.
My son is translating for me.
Eh, quiero compartir con ustedes que
I want to share with you guys
me, me he sentido muy triste
that I've been very sad
y con mucho miedo
and with a lot of fear
porque tenemos un problema familiar
because I am going through a family issue.
y mi cuñado, el esposo de mi hermana, está detenido
The husband of my sister is in prison.
y le dieron muchos años de prisión
He has been sentenced to many years in prison,
y él es un hombre muy correcto.
and he is a very trustworthy, reliable person.
No se merece que le pase eso.
He doesn't deserve to be going through that.
Y, y esa tristeza me ha causado este miedo porque
And that sadness has caused me this fear
tengo muchas enfermedades,
because I have a lot of illnesses,
principalmente de corazón,
mainly in my heart,
depresión arterial.
blood pressure,
Y pues no sé, no sé qué podemos hacer o
and I don't know what we are to do, or
lo hemos puesto mucho en la luz, lo he puesto yo mucho
I
en la
have been
luz,
placing him in the light,
pero eh, todavía estamos con este problema.
but the problem's still present.
And for you, what is the problem?
Para ti, ¿cuál es el problema?
Eh, pues él es una persona muy importante en nuestra familia.
He's a very important person in my family, our family.
Siempre nos ha apoyado mucho.
He's always been of support.
Mi hermana también es una persona muy importante
My sister is very important to me.
y siento mucha pena por ella
and I feel a lot of shame for her.
y eh, sí nos hace falta mucho el apoyo de él.
And uh, we have a lot of lack from him. We miss him very much. We miss him very much.
I think one of the most difficult mythologies of the mind
Creo que una de las mitologías más grandes de la mente
is the disempowering belief
es el desempoderamiento,
that you need to have a physical circumstance change
tienes que tener que una circunstancia física cambie
or that you need to do something physically
o que tienes que hacer físicamente algo
to bring peace to your world.
para traer paz a tu mundo.
The mind would tell you that you're unable to do anything to help the situation.
Tu mente va a decirte que no puedes hacer nada para ayudar la situación.
And the basic self, your body consciousness,
Y tu ser básico, que es la conciencia del cuerpo,
has attachment levels with this person.
tiene apego con Roberto, la persona.
So they're not just a person,
Entonces no es solo una persona,
they symbolize an aspect of your reality.
simboliza un aspecto de tu realidad.
So it's a part of you that is deeply hurting
Entonces hay una parte dentro de ti que se está hiriendo
and a part of you that feels imprisoned.
y una parte tuya dentro que se está sintiendo presa.
My experience
Mi experiencia
is that we have within us
es que dentro de nosotros poseemos ya
the authority and capacity
la autoridad y capacidad
to heal all wounds through the Christ consciousness.
de curar todas las heridas a través de la conciencia crística.
We only need the willingness to go to that place within us
Pero necesitamos la voluntad de ir a ese lugar dentro de nosotros
and to bring the healing and the peace.
para traer la curación y la paz.
Right now, you're holding your brother in law in prison inside of
Ahora,
you.
ahora tú estás sosteniendo a tu eh, a tío Roberto en la prisión.
If you could close your eyes and see him bathed in light,
Si pudieras cerrar los ojos y verlo bañado en luz,
see the prison bars melt away,
ver que las barras de la prisión se empiezan a deshacer,
see angels standing beside him,
ver ángeles que están sentados a los lados de él,
ministering to him and comforting him,
haciéndole ministerio y dándole conforte,
healing all wounds within him,
sanando las heridas internas que él tiene.
our consciousness doesn't really seek righteous justice in the world.
Nuestra conciencia en realidad no busca rectitud y justicia en el mundo.
That is simply a means by which our consciousness seeks healing.
Esa solo es una cuestión a través de la cual nos curamos.
It is good to stand up for what is true and in integrity.
Está bien levantarse por aquello que es verdad y en integridad,
But the condition of the world is not the condition of your healing.
pero la condición del mundo no es la condición de tu curación.
And you have the right to be healed and free regardless of circumstance.
Y tú tienes el derecho de ser curada y liberada sin importar las circunstancias externas.
The thing that you can do that is most helpful
Lo que puedes hacer que es más de ayuda
to your sister and brother in law
para tu cuñado y para tu hermana
is to work with them inside of you
es trabajar con ellos dentro de ti
You can imagine that you're standing in their shoes
Puedes imaginarte que tú estás en los zapatos de ellos
and do self forgiveness.
y hacer perdón.
You can visualize them bathed in different colors of light.
Puedes imaginarte que se están bañando, dentro de estos zapatos están bañando en colores de luz.
You can see them being worked on by great masters of healing.
Puedes verlos siendo tú trabajados por grandes maestros de la curación.
You can repeat over and over, I love you, God bless you, peace be still.
Puedes repetir una y otra vez, te amo, Dios te bendiga, paz, ten calma.
There is a cultural patterning
Hay un patrón cultural
on the psychic genetic level
a nivel psíquico genético
in many cultures
en muchas culturas
associated with what we would call Latinx,
asociados con lo que vamos a llamar Latinx.
that commiseration
Esa cometer
and suffering another person's suffering
y tener el sufrimiento de otra persona, sufrirlo como si fuera tuyo,
is the way to help
es la forma de ayudar
and creates closeness.
y crea una cercanía.
It becomes like a habit pattern.
Se crea como un hábito
And at the same time,
y a la misma vez
it does not necessarily assist in clearing the energy or the consciousness,
no ayuda a despejar la energía o la conciencia,
even if it makes the basic self feel closer to the other person.
incluso aunque ayude a que el ser básico se sienta más cercano a la otra persona.
The way you can assist in this process
La manera en la que asistes a este proceso
is to clear these people inside of you
es despejar a estas personas dentro de ti.
so that you see only their divine self,
Así que mira solo su divino ser,
so that you are so beyond the conditions and the judgments and the beliefs
para que vayas más allá de los juicios, de las condiciones, de las creencias y los eh, juicios.
that when you look at the situation, all you see is loving.
Para que cuando mires la situación, todo lo que ves es amorosidad.
Then, when you actually interact with people involved,
Entonces, cuando interactúas con las personas que están involucradas,
your very presence is a prayer answered
tu presencia pura es una oración contestada,
because you bear witness to
porque has atestiguado
the divinity that is the other person,
la divinidad que es la otra persona,
the divinity that is transcendent of the situation, circumstance, or environment.
la divinidad que es independiente de la circunstancia o el entorno.
And it becomes a comfort
Y es un confort o un descanso
and a powerful support in that situation.
y un poderoso soporte o ayuda en esa situación.
People don't need to be reminded that life isn't fair.
A la gente, tú no necesitas recordarle a la gente que la vida es injusta.
People are thirsty to be reminded that they are divine
La gente está sedienta de ser recordada que son divinos
and that that divinity
y que esa divinidad
is inherently loving
es amorosidad inherente
and inherently loved.
y amada inherentemente.
And there's nothing you could ever do to change that.
Y no hay nada que puedas hacer para cambiar eso.
And even the people who do the unjust things to people we love
E incluso aquellos que le cometen injusticias a aquellos que nosotros amamos,
are merely participating in the karma.
simplemente están participando en el karma.
We forgive them because they don't know what they're doing.
Los perdonamos porque no saben lo que hacen.
We all suffer from the same ignorance.
Todos sufrimos de la misma ignorancia.
We all forget that we are divine.
A todos se nos olvida que somos divinos.
Your presence, even in the courtroom,
Can you repeat, please?
your presence, even in the courtroom,
Incluso tu presencia en la corte,
even as you see the unjust magistrate
aunque tú veas al magistrado injusto
or the prosecutor,
o al fiscal,
if you can see God in them,
si ves a Dios en ellos,
you will transcend the negativity that is present.
vas a trascender la negatividad presente.
So, my suggestion
Así que mi sugerencia
is to start by loving yourself
comienza amándote a ti mismo
and loving all the parts of you that are them.
y ama todas las partes internas tuyas que son ellos.
And my suggestion is to end by loving yourself,
Y mi sugerencia es que termines amándote a ti mismo,
especially the parts of you that are messy.
incluidas las partes que son desordenadas.
Eso es como amar también todas las enfermedades que tengo.
Is that like also, does it look like also loving all of the illnesses that I have?
100%.
100%.
I think it's you call them illnesses and you make them your enemy.
Tú les llamas enfermedades y las haces tus enemigas,
But we're told by the great teacher to love our enemy.
pero se nos ha dicho por el gran maestro amar al enemigo.
When we understand,
Cuando comprendemos
nothing ever happens to us,
que nada nos pasa a nosotros,
it only happens for us.
que solamente pasa para nosotros.
We start to realize that even disease
Incluso la enfermedad
is just a conversation with a part of us.
es solo simplemente una conversación para nosotros, dentro de nosotros.
And in many cases, disease is merely
E incluso en muchas ocasiones la enfermedad es simplemente
the body consciousness's
las
attempt,
conciencias del cuerpo,
attempt to follow the directions it thinks it has been given.
intentando seguir las direcciones que se les han dado.
Eso em, también podría mejorar el hecho de que siento mucho miedo de morir.
Could that also help my immense fear of dying?
For me, the best solution
Para mí la mejor solución
for a fear of dying
para el miedo a morir
is to experience the sound current of God,
es experimentar la corriente del sonido de Dios,
to do meditation, spiritual exercises,
hacer meditación, ejercicios espirituales
and to enter the soul realm while you're still living.
y entrar al reino del alma cuando estás aún viviendo.
The yogis and great masters call this dying while living.
Los yogis y los grandes maestros le llaman morir mientras aún estás viviendo.
The more you have firsthand experience of your own infinite nature,
Mientras más tienes experiencia de tu propia infinidad,
the less you will fear an imagined future of a finite nature.
menos imaginarás un futuro finito.
And indeed, the fear of death is not your enemy.
Incluso el miedo a la muerte no es tu enemigo.
There have been great teachers throughout history
Han habido grandes maestros a través de la historia
who have merely by the contemplation of death
que simplemente al contemplar la muerte
discovered infiniteness.
han descubierto la infinidad.
There's a story of Ramana Maharshi,
Hay una historia de Ramana Maharshi,
that one day I think he was only 16 years old.
que él creo que tenía 16 años.
He started becoming deeply afraid of his own mortality,
Él se empezó a sentir profundamente con miedo de su mortalidad
which propelled him to ask the question, who would die?
y se hizo la pregunta, ¿quién morirá?
Who is afraid of dying?
¿Quién está con miedo de morir?
Who am I?
¿Quién soy yo?
And he fell into this deep awareness that never left him.
Y él cayó dentro de esta profunda conciencia que no lo dejó.
John Roger once said, God
John,
is awareness.
John Roger una vez dijo, Dios es conciencia.
And awareness
Y
has an eternal nature
tiene una naturaleza eterna.
that which you truly are has no beginning or end.
Aquello que tú en realidad eres no tiene principio ni fin.
And the death of the body is merely a shift in the process of experience.
Y la muerte del cuerpo simplemente es un cambio del proceso de la existencia.
Creo que con todo esto que acabo de escuchar, me quedan claras muchas otras cosas.
I think with all of this that I have been listening to, I have clear clarity on many other things,
Me siento mucho más tranquila.
and I feel more comfortable.
Tengo mucha paz ahora,
I have, I'm experiencing more peace now,
mucha tranquilidad.
um, calmness,
Tranquility.
tranquility. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas
Entiendo
gracias.
español.
Hablo español también.
Ah,
No
qué
hablo
bueno.
español, pero entiendo español.
Ah, qué bien, qué bien. Bueno, muchas gracias.
I can see that your face changed.
Puedo ver que tu cara cambió.
Sí,
All we did was move your attention away from the conflict you created in your own mind.
Solo movimos tu conciencia de lo que estaba pegado a tu propia mente.
sí,
And the spirit flowed in,
Y el espíritu simplemente fluyó dentro de ti.
and you
sí,
started breathing differently.
Y empezaste a respirar de manera distinta.
sí. Cambié mucho.
I changed.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Dios te bendiga.
Amén.
All right. Good to speak to you, Flor. It's interesting. Flor didn't say very many words, but I was very touched by the depth of her loving.
No, no dijiste muchas palabras, pero estaba muy tocada por la profundidad de tu amorosidad.
I don't know if anybody noticed, but sometimes the quietest person in the room has the deepest ocean of loving in them.
A veces la persona más callada del cuarto tiene la más profunda amorosidad del cuarto.
Gracias.
But I could see it in your eyes. You started to open your eyes when we were
Puedo
clear,
verlo en tus ojos.
and the spirit just poured through. And
Empezaste a abrir los ojos cuando estábamos despejando y el espíritu simplemente arrojó todo de sí a través de tus ojos.
so thank you for that.
Así que muchas gracias por hacer eso.
Gracias a ti. Tú también tienes un reflejo de mucha amorosidad.
You also reflect a lot of loving.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Qué diferente me siento.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's about that time, so God bless you. I love you. Peace be still. The blessings already are. And catch you next time.